Hey 7th graders, today's assignment is your 3.2 populations. We are slowly winding down on our Amplify assignments, so this is kind of looking towards the end. Main thing that we're going to be focusing on today is indirect effective changes in populations. So most of last chapter we looked at, if we change the wee bug population, what happens to the fur bills? Because the fur bills eat the wee bugs. Okay, and those were direct effects. Today we're really going to be focusing on indirect effects and competing populations. So your learning targets are: I can identify two consumer populations competing for the same resource population, and I can predict the indirect effects of two competing populations. So again, we're going to be looking at two competing populations and how, if we were to change one, how it would affect another. Okay, some things that I want to remind you guys of on your assignments is, if you guys look over on the left-hand side where you can see all the slides, note where the question marks are. Okay, if there are question marks on the upper right-hand corner of the slides, just like you see in this slide here, there's something you guys need to do on that, whether it's like use the draw tool to respond to a question, or whether it's click and type an answer. Okay, so make sure you guys are aware of that if you see those question marks, there's something you need to do. The other thing I want to tell you guys is, wherever you guys see my little Bitmoji with the pencil, there's somewhere you guys need to use a draw tool today. Okay, so for instance, this one you guys would be circling an answer using your draw tool. All right, so moving on, very first thing you guys need to do is add to your notebook today. Competition will be your word of the day. When two or more populations use the same resource, such as the same food source. So this is a little picture example of competition. We have zooplankton is eaten by both sardines and jellies. So the jellies and the sardines both compete for the zooplankton. Okay, so these are two different species that you're learning about either later this week, or maybe you guys have already done it. You guys had a little note page where we talked about community interactions, and one of these were competition. Okay, the other one was predator-prey. So this would be an example of predator-prey, where the sardines are preying on the zooplankton. And then this would be an example where we have two different species competing for the same resource. So the sardines and the jellies are competing. Okay, and then finally you need to add key concept number 10. Two populations can compete for the same resource population. A change to one of these populations indirectly affects the size of the other. So that's what we're really going to be focusing on today. So add these to your guys' OneNote. This one goes on your vocab. This one goes on your key concepts. And once you guys are done with that, we can go ahead and move on to our warm-up. Hold on one second. So in your guys' warm-up today, you guys are given this little food web. We have your grass are eaten by the zebra, so notice the arrow pointing, showing the transfer of energy from the grass to the zebra. And then the zebra are preyed upon by the lion and the hyena. Okay, so here's your question. Notice the little guy with the draw tool, so go up and hit your draw tool, and you guys are going to circle one of these answers, kind of like a little multiple choice for you guys. So what do you think would happen to the lion population if the hyena population increased in size? So our hyena population is going to go up. Think of what that would do to your zebras, and then indirectly what that would do to your lions. Would they go up, or would they go down? Okay? All right, so that's your guys' first part of that warm-up question. So circling the answer, you think the lion population would increase, decrease, or it would not change at all. So circle your answer there. And then I want you guys to go back to your cursor, click and type to explain why you guys think that is. Okay, moving on. You have a little reading to do about jellyfish. So here's your link. You guys can right-click it, open your link, and go into your library and read about this jellyfish explosion, how competition can affect population size. Remember that Amplify will read to you if you guys click the little speaker and then hit play.
Jelly population explosion.
All right, so you can listen to that, or you guys can read it and then answer this question. The sardines are not the jelly's resource population or consumer population. So meaning that the jelly and the sardines are not connected by an arrow in that food web. One does not eat the other, or vice versa. But they still cause the jelly population in North Benguela to increase. How did this happen? So again, you guys are looking at two competing populations. So tell me a little bit about that. Okay, and then going on, we have a little simulation for you guys to do, and this will really be the bulk of your assignment from here on out. So investigating competition in the sim part 1. So this is the part where you guys get to go on and use the 6 population mode of the sim. you guys will be looking at 6 different organisms and how they interact in a food web. So some populations use the same resource, such as eat the same resource, population, or food. In this sim mission, you will first find 2 populations that compete for the same resource. So this is sim mission number 1. It's just to figure out which 2 organisms are competing for the same resource. Then you will try to increase one population by change the other. So those are going to be your subsequent simulations, missions like 2 and 3. Okay, so open the population and resources sim. Here's your link right here. And go to the 6 population mode. Go to the food web overlay and find 2 populations that compete for the same resource. So I'm going to go ahead, right click my sim link, open that link up. And finally, you guys get to use this one right here, this 6 populations. So we're looking at green leaves, is something you're familiar with. Weebugs and furbills, again, something you're familiar with. Stingwings are these little Pokemon-looking guys. These are all like Pokemon-looking guys. The little scale beaks. And claw cats are these big mamma jammas right here. And then this also shows your energy storage molecule. So now we are in 6 population mode. Go down to your food web overlay right here, and you guys can see the transfer of energy. So we have green leaves getting eaten and transferring their energy to weebugs. Weebugs are eaten by both these little stingwings and furbills. Okay, so you guys can see transfer of energy either from the weebugs to the stingwings and the weebugs to the furbills. And then the furbills are eaten by the scale beaks, we'll call them. And then we got the claw cats right here. Okay, all right, so you guys are going to answer this question using, again, oops, I thought I went on, sorry. Using this little guy, notice you have the draw tool icon for you guys right here, so grab your draw tool, and we're going to kind of do a little fill in the blank by circling your guys' answers. So blank and the blank populations compete for the blank population. So you're going to circle 2 on this one here. Okay, so what are your 2 competing organisms? The blank and the blank are competing for, and what do they eat? So circle 1 here telling me what they eat. Okay, so again, circle 2 right here. Those are your 2 competing. And circle 1 here, that's the thing that those 2 populations eat. Okay, moving along to the next slide. So we're on slide 8 now. Here is that same little image that you guys saw, maybe organized slightly different, but same transfer of energy, same food web. Your sim mission is to make a change to the furbills that will cause the stingwing to increase. So you've already completed sim mission 1. You just figured out who were the competing organisms. Okay, so your next sim mission is to make a change to the furbills. So you guys will be changing these little furry critters right here with the purpose of increasing our stingwings. So we want to figure out what change we can make to our furbills to get our stingwings to increase. Remember, this will be an indirect effect because there is no arrow connecting these 2 populations. Okay, we have to go through the weebugs first. Okay, all right, so think about that. Which change are we going to make to our furbills to get our stingwings to increase? Okay, and let's go ahead and test that out. Okay, so notice the little draw tool guy here. It says, plan the change you will make to increase the stingwing population. So remember, we're changing the furbills. So you're going to either circle increasing the furbill population will cause the stingwing population to increase, or we're going to decrease the furbill population, which causes the stingwing population to increase. So circle one of those. And then here are your directions. So you're going to go in. You are going to go to your 6 population mode, which you guys should already have queued up. Okay. And you're going to let it run for 40 time units. So last time we let it run for about 20 time units, so this is a little bit different. Make the change to the furbills that you selected above. So bigger change causes a bigger effect. So you guys are going to pause it just like you did before. And then you guys, if you decide to decrease, I would completely decrease it. Or if you guys decide to increase, I would completely max it out as much as you guys can go. Remember, bigger changes, you guys will see a bigger effect. And you really do want to see that big effect because sometimes it's kind of hard. Okay, press play and let the sim run for another 100 time units. Go to analyze and use the range window to observe the population size after the change. So in general, I will show you guys what this looks like. Okay, we've already let it run for about 80. That's good enough for me. It says to do 40 on yours, and that's fine. But remember, we are going to be changing the furbill population. So you're either going to completely decrease your population of furbills and lock them into place, or you guys will completely increase your fur bills and lock them into place. Okay, remember they both compete. The fur bills and the stingwings both compete for the wee bugs. Okay, and our goal again is to increase our stingwings. So let's just see what happens if we increase our fur bills to 100. We're gonna lock it and I'm gonna let it run for about another 100 time units. It really doesn't matter. We're collecting a lot of data beforehand and we'll have plenty of data after about 100 seconds. I can even speed it up a little bit if I choose. So now we're going about twice as fast. I'm going to let it run till about 180, and you guys can kind of see what's happening to my energy storage molecules of each of these. You can see my fur bills are locked in place. You can see what's happening to my wee bugs roughly, and then you can see what effect that's having on these stingwings here. Remember, our whole goal is to increase our stingwings. So that's probably good enough. And let's go ahead and check it out and analyze. Okay, so we can scroll back and find the spot at which we changed our fur bills. Okay, so right about here, we had 40 fur bills, okay, and they were staying about steady, about the same amount of births and deaths. Our stingwing, they were eating our wee bugs, so you guys can kind of see what happens with our wee bug population and then where our stingwings were. Remember, our goal is to increase our stingwings. Okay, so this was before I made any change, and then after I made the change, we'll just go to the end. We can kind of see, all right, our stingwing population was down to 5. Okay, it was at 17 before our change, now it's down to 5, and it looks like it's still changing, still decreasing. Okay, so that wasn't a desired effect. I increased the fur bills. So what do you guys need to do to get the desired effect? I want you guys to think about that. You've probably already figured it out. So I want you guys to go ahead and test that theory out and then move on to slide 10 to see what you did. After the change, what happened to your wee bugs? Did they increase, decrease, or remain stable? Use your guys' draw tool there. And the stingwings, again, your goal was to get them to increase. So if you guys aren't circling increase on that, you did something wrong and you probably need to go back and redo it. Okay, so you guys should be answering this as increased. But again, make sure you guys are answering that if that's the actual data you got. If not, go back and redo it. Explain why the change you made caused the stingwing population to change. Use energy storage molecules or ESMs to explain your answer. So I'm cool if you guys type ESMs in there. At this point, we should all know what that means. Okay, moving on, part 4, Sam. What change would cause a decrease to the stingwing population? We just did that. Okay, so again, use your draw tool. Are you going to increase the size of the fur bill population or decrease the size of the fur bill population? Okay, so you can kind of see where that blank fills in right here. So either increasing the size of the fur bill population or decreasing the size of the fur bill population would cause the stingwing population size to decrease. Okay, so go ahead, answer that question there. And then moving on, we're going to revisit our warm-up here. So we had this little food web where we had grass being eaten and transferring its energy to the zebra, and then the zebra is preyed upon by the lion and the hyena and transfers its energy to both of those organisms. So what do you think would happen to the lion population if the hyena population increases? Assume that the populations were stable before the change, so you guys can circle your answer there and kind of go back to your warm-up and check where you guys right the first time. Okay, if so, great job. All right, finally, sim mission number 3. In class, you guys increase the stingwing population by changing the fur bill population. Now you will make a change to the fur bill population that will cause the stingwing population to decrease. So again, you're still changing the fur bill and seeing how you guys can decrease the stingwings. So again, plan the change you guys would make to decrease the stingwing. So it's either going to increase, decrease. So use your draw tool there. The fur bill population will cause the stingwing population to decrease. So are you going to increase or decrease the fur bill population to cause the stingwing population to decrease? Here again is your sim. Here's your instructions. Again, you guys should know this as well. You made a prediction on it earlier. Now you're basically testing that prediction. Okay, and then here you go. Confirm your guys' answer with your data. Again, earlier you guys made a prediction when you were on before you're revisiting. And now you guys are just going to test that out and then explain why that happened. Okay? That concludes your guys' assignment for today. So last 2 slides are your wrap up. Do you have any questions? Circle yes or no. If yes, type them below. Obviously, if it's something that's holding you guys up from finishing the assignment, you guys want to let me know right away so I can help you out. And then give me a 4, 3, 2, 1. How do you think you did on this assignment? And you are all done. A really nice job today, you guys. Don't forget to hand in your assignment, and I hope you all are having a splendid day.